When Dateline NBC aired an explosive investigation into the world of online sexual predators using decoys posing as teenagers, a rented house, and hidden cameras. Dateline confronted men expecting to meet children for sex. Well, tonight, we want to show you where those alleged predators are now. Take a look.
During our investigation, 19 men showed up at our house in 3 days after making a date online with a person posing as a young teen.
Did you bring beer?
No, I think we can stop and get some on the way.
Once they saw me, some headed for the door.
Hey, how are you? Come on, help.
Others stayed, apparently believing I was the child's father or with law enforcement. None of them knew our hidden cameras were recording their every move.
How's it going?
Good.
How you doing? Why don't you have a seat right around that?
This man, an Army sergeant, tried to entice our decoy, who he thought was a 14-year-old girl, into having sex.
I've never done anything. I'm trying to get help with it.
What are you doing to get help?
I'm seeing a psychiatrist right now.
Well, it doesn't look like it's working too well based upon all this.
I just started talking to him.
And perhaps more shocking than the number of men is who they are. This 54-year-old man is a special education teacher.
What is a 54-year-old man doing coming to this home to see a 13-year-old boy?
I obviously made a big mistake.
And he wasn't the only one.
Come on in, I just spilled Diet Coke all over my shorts.
This 50-year-old is an emergency room doctor, here to meet a boy he thinks is 14.
I'll be right back down there.
Watch how he tries to follow our decoy upstairs.
I can go out if you want.
When I confronted the doctor, he said he had no intention of having sex with the boy. He only came here because he felt badly for the teen who was left home alone.
What's really going on here?
What's really going on was I came over to take him out for lunch.
You ask, have you ever been spanked? He says, by my dad, but not for sex. You say, could it be fun for sex? He says, I can try. You say, want to spank a dad. Now, you see how that looks.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
The doctor, like most of the men who showed up at our house, maintained he was not doing anything wrong.
Hello?
Hi.
I gotta ask, you still gonna be up for tonight?
We'll see.
And then there was this man.
So how can I help you? What are you doing here?
Not something good. This isn't good.
Not good. I think that's kind of an understatement, isn't it? What do you do for a living?
A rabbi.
That's right, a rabbi. We even had a man stripped naked in our garage after our decoy asked him to.
Could you explain yourself?
I'm sorry.
This 43-year-old showed up with a 12-pack of beer, thinking he was going to meet a 14-year-old boy.
What would have happened, John, if I wasn't here?
I probably would have taken out, sir.
He got his chance to tell his story to police just last week when he was taken in for questioning. Detectives confiscated a computer and other items from his home. He's not been charged with a crime. And since our first story aired, the prosecutor in Fairfax County, Virginia, tells Dateline he expects to bring 3 or 4 cases, men caught in our investigation, to the grand jury before the end of the year. As for the rabbi, because he lives in Montgomery County, Maryland, his case has been turned over to police there, and we are told he's currently under investigation.
Here to talk about that incredible Dateline investigation and what's being done to put these guys behind bars is Andy Kahn. He's at the Houston Crime Victims Office, and also Xavier Von Erck. He's the Director of Operations for Perverted Justice. Xavier, let me start with you. We have been writing Fairfax County from the very beginning after Dateline did their incredible work. We got their spokesperson on. They basically said, you know what? There's nothing we can do about it. So you got these walking time bombs going on all over Fairfax County, and chances are good they're going to go off and kids are going to be hurt. But you actually think that our pushing may be making a difference. Talk about it.
Yeah, I know our pushing and your pushing has made a difference in this case because, as you said yourself, the public information officer said that they had no jurisdiction. But now these individuals are being charged. Next Monday, 3 of the 4 individuals will be charged. One of them fled back to Egypt. So not only has our pushing made a difference, it's resulted in some arrests and some charges.
What about what you did with this rabbi? Is this rabbi going to jail?
He's currently under investigation. All signs point to yes, but at this point we can't say for sure. But from what we know, it looks like he's going to be.
Where is he? Who will prosecute this guy?
He lives in Montgomery County, Maryland, and that's currently where he's under investigation by the Montgomery County Police.
You feel like they're going to take this guy off the streets and throw him in jail? And if not, what can we do to push Montgomery County's prosecutors to get him locked away, or at least get him tried?
At this point, I feel they're going to, but you never know. So it's important that the people in Montgomery County know that in the next few weeks, if they don't hear something about this in their local papers, start asking some tough questions.
Yeah, and of course, Xavier, you guys are doing an incredible job. Let us know if they're dragging their feet. We'll pull you back on here, and we'll start pushing hard. I'm sending a message right out to Montgomery County's prosecutor. We're watching you. I don't know who you are. I'm sure you're a faithful and diligent public servant, but I'm just telling you, this guy needs to be off the streets. What Dateline caught him in, absolutely sick and perverted. Andy, let me go to you. It seems to me that you've got all these time bombs ready to go off. Are we being too simplistic, or should the prosecutors move fairly quickly, seize their computers like they did with a naked guy, and start trying to move forward on charges?
You know, Joe, the reality is that if you guys hadn't have bird-dogged any of these district attorneys, probably none of these cases would be moving forward. And that, to me, raises enormous red flags because
why is that, Andy? Why wouldn't they move on these guys but for us?
That's a million-dollar question because constantly, day in and day out, law enforcement always asks for citizens to be their eyes and ears to report criminal activity. And here's this group, this great organization, Predator, that gift-wrapped it for them. Said, here they are. Get these guys off the street. These guys are professional pedophiles who've molested God knows how many children, and they're still moving at a snail's pace. I think it's, again, we have to change our mindset and realize we are in a national public safety health crisis when it's concerning sex offenders. The fact that 1 out of every 3 young women will be sexually molested and 1 out of every 5 young boys will be sexually molested in our lifetime, and all we see is probated sentences if we're lucky.
They got to get tough, and Andy, I'll tell you what, it is a national epidemic, but you're on the forefront of fighting it. And Xavier, we can't thank you enough for what you're doing. Gentlemen, we're going to be getting back to this. We're going to be following up on the prosecutors, make sure all these people go to jail or at least have their day in court. Thanks so much for being with us. Greatly appreciate it. Now, if you missed Dateline tonight, you can see it again here on MSNBC tomorrow at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern. You need to see this. If you're a parent, put it down. TiVo it. It is so important for you to see what's going on out there in these neighborhoods. And then you can join our fight to get all of these guys behind bars. Coming